figure is right in front of you. Took like fucking 3 Tylenols, ibuprofen, water, 600 milligrams. I feel like my phone is hard. So it's afternoon, baby.
Okay.
Come grab it. Come grab it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ginger?
Don't take some. That's up.
Huh?
That was his sound. That was his voice. Oh.
Just by playing a game on your phone. Also, it's so powerful now that he can move thousands of times faster than light, beyond small planets, and has the strongest defense in the history of Black Clover. And because of this, everyone is learning faster. He's gone head-to-head with multiple high-ranked devils, has one of the trickiest transformations in anime, and has 5 girls wanting his twin Black Sword. However, one day, everything changed when Lucius Lucius entering the story has completely flipped the narrative of Black Clover. In a matter of minutes, this man declares himself the ultimate wizard king, defeats Arthur in seconds, and then proceeds to take his girl. After being defeated by Lucius, Arthur awoke in the Hino country, where he met the Ryusen Seven. They taught Arthur the ability he needs to defeat Lucius, and his only weakness is physical attacks, and now he has become 100 times stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, that ability is called Second. However, this it only took Arthur a few days to learn it and then master it. This puts into perspective just how skilled Arthur is and how his usage of Q in previous arcs has been leading up to this moment. In the end, it wasn't Arthur's skill or battle prowess that held him back from mastering Second, but his resolve and conviction. After losing to Lucius, story stating, I'm not gifted, I can't afford to lose. Just keep getting stronger and don't lose again. If you lose, then become stronger than you were before. However, Reeves states to Arthur that every once in a while his attention lapses, which gives each player, a member of the Reusing Seven, the opportunity to destroy him. And that's what Lucius is doing as well. This is how the both of them defeat Arthur and make him black out. Yasuda, the strongest Ryuzen, stated that Arthur worries too much and that it doesn't matter what kind of magic someone has, as Arthur's Zetten can cut through it. This is because Arthur's anti-magic Zetten is the strongest counter against anyone. As long as he can see his opponent's attack, it's game over and you win the fight. And that's what is the goat. If you didn't know, this is because the proficiency with Zetten is tied to your convictions, resolve, and determination. When Arthur arrives in the land of the sun, he's in a very doubtful state, believing he wasn't strong enough to beat Lucius and that he was a failure. And so, to address the weak resolve that Yasuda claimed Arthur to have, in chapter 348, the paladin of Yuru manifests his greatest fear. In Arthur's case, it was his doubt that he could become stronger, but with Zetten, Arthur surpassed his limits and destroyed this version of himself instantly. A better mental state allows someone to find better, and Zetten is just part of that arsenal. In order to find out just how strong Arthur's Zetten is, we need to do some power scaling. Let's begin with just how much fireballs at Arthur so fast that he couldn't read them with his key, which means even his spotter ass was scaling faster than light at this point, since Arthur was capable of keeping up with that speed prior. And what's insane is that the God Triad arc displayed the difference between Magna and Dante. Magna was 500 times weaker than Dante, with Lucifero at 100%. But when Nama and Lilith arrived, they made even Dante's breaks in chapter 279, where chapter 280 clearly states they scale even higher than him. In fact, we are told by Nama their power is more than just 1 plus 1, meaning they are twice as strong as Dante with Lucifero. Thus, via Magnus' graph, he could be 2,000 times weaker than their fusion transformation at a minimum. And guess what? Arthur's imperfect devil union was keeping up with those supreme devils and eventually killed them, which meant he was already scaling thousands of times more than Magna or every other magic knight before mastering his devil union transformation, which essentially means Arthur can attack hundreds of times faster than light. And now you have to include Zetten, which boosts it 100 times more. To put this further into perspective, we've seen Arthur outperform everyone with his Ancient Demon attack in the Clover Kingdom. Since Golion's brand new Hellfire spell was introduced, it increases her power with each passing second. Knowing that Arthur's Devil Union has a 30-minute cooldown, we can assume she had been fighting for that long. Arthur speed blitzed the demon in a single clean slice, no problemo, whilst the others needed 30 minutes to fight the same demon. Arthur only needed 30 seconds if we're lowballing, which means Sith Golion took 60 times longer to beat the same opponent. However, Arthur's gap becomes even bigger as all the captains combined can't even cast spells, let alone react to Lucifero's speed when he is introduced. Lucifero is hundreds of times stronger than any other. The craziest game of the year is here. This is the AFK God of Destruction, the idle RPG from another world. Have you ever seen a tree getting hit with a lightning bolt? The classic exactly immersive of the cooldown in chapter 23 of Nuclear Vortex, with Boruto using his signature purple lightning to charge Juna with a huge shock. With the reveal of this sneak peek, it seems like he still has a chance against his sentimental tree type of opponent. But can we take this reaction of Juna as a good sign for the young lord? Or is it just an expression of being impressed with how capable Boruto is? Well, let's begin with understanding the possible symbolic weight behind this sequence and how it might even put the Shinju into a tough spot. It could even be a sign that he had just sensed the presence of some other entity within Boruto who could potentially become a big bad news to him. But let's keep that for later and focus on the real team. So in real life, the electrical surge targets the moisture of that tree, which is sap and water, causing explosive vaporization, splintering, or fires due to the extreme heat, which can go up to 30,000 Celsius. The trees with high moisture content or dense structures are particularly vulnerable as the current follows conductive.
This video is going to be brought to you by G Fuel. To say that G Fuel is a cheat code for me as a creator is an understatement. Between uploading daily on this channel and consistently uploading on 3 of my other channels and still finding time to hit the gym, I need all the energy I can get, which is why I turn to G Fuel energy tubs such as the Ice Spice Orange because of the make. Yo, what's going on today? My name's Swindor to explain and bring you guys another Vortex. Vortex breaking news updated today. It is that time of the month, people. We got our first set of spoilers coming for the upcoming Vortex 2023 and the where's from that attack? Basically, think of it like you place your hand on a hot oven by mistake and you got burned, or you're working out in the garden like I was a couple of days ago and I got a thorn from one of the flowers in my flower bed. They pricked me unexpectedly. In both instances, you're going to immediately take your hand off the source. It's a natural reaction. So the same thing happened here. However, here's what's very interesting. This entire sequence is happening pretty early on in the chapter. Boruto is basically in the same condition he was in following the end of the last chapter, which means he hasn't sustained any more additional damage from the end of the last chapter, which likely means after seeing his strongest jutsu didn't work, he might have taken a page out of Kabuto's book from Naruto Part 1. After Orochimaru warns Kabuto to not get hit by a punch by Tsunade or else it will kill him, Kabuto kept running away off screen to avoid her attacks until he took a food pill mid-fight and then exploit Tsunade's fear blood. But unfortunately for Boruto, unless he's got a library collection, so some scrolls through to start reading, there isn't really a weakness to exploit here. Now, I do want to address something that I've been seeing in the comment section a lot, growing each month. Honestly, for roughly 2 years now, basically ever since the awakened Shinju were revealed to us in Chapter 4 to Vortex. And I ignored it until now because I didn't think it needed to be addressed, but I've been seeing enough discourse that it's changed my mind. So I see people getting outraged that ninjutsu is working on Hidari and then Ryu and now on Jura. People point out how ninjutsu didn't work on Obito when he became a Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. So they're throwing around my favorite phrase that gets used on YouTube a lot, especially nowadays, which is the word plot hole. Let me restate that. The word of the day is plot hole. Oh boy.
We added a special skill to Curry called Curry Graph. When activated, his speed goes up. His 3-point shot efficiency gives a boost, making him a massive threat with or without the ball. High number.
Our favorite word, right? You know why it's used so much. You know the damage that word has done, which sees things get labeled a plot hole when a lot of the times the things that people are calling a plot hole really isn't a plot hole when you look at the original source material and not just look at clips. Yes, ninjutsu didn't work on Obito, but there's a clear difference here. Obito is a Ten-Tails Jinchuriki utilizing 6-pass power, which 6-pass Sage mode is not 6-pass power. 6-pass power is the collection of power that comes out of the collective chakra, the 9 Fiji, which gives you things like true seeking orbs, like it basically what you saw Obito, Madara, and Naruto each used when they became mages. Jinchuriki, which again, 6-pass Sage mode, 6-pass power, they're literally defined as two different things, despite Naruto volumes 70 used them simultaneously because volume 70 is the only time that he's used separately. Video link in the description for those guys who need more context and figure out what the difference is between the two forms. So I said to say this, none of that applies to the truth. Yes, he is the Ten-Tails incarnate. He is an humanoid form. He is not a Jinchuriki. The Ten-Tails can't be affected by ninjutsu. We see this in Naruto's film. The main body of the Ten-Tails that Obito and Madara were controlling could be tagged and affected by jutsu and was affected by it multiple times, ranging from Ino briefly taking control via the Yamanaka planets in release hidden jutsu to it being tagged by Cloud Village Ninja who were using the storm release Kekkei Genkai and the lightning release combo attacks where it was in pain while it's being flying. Genkai to trap it and burn its body in quicklime while holding it in place while the Upward Clan worked in conjunction with the Sand Village Ninja